So we have a twosome today. We rarely do this. Ray Banuchi and Grace Gravestock. All right. Grace Gravestock and Ray Banuchi find synergy in their shared approach to personal transformation and work together to help bring conscious awareness to people in transition. A personal transformation consultant and speaker with Silver Lining Coaching, Grace is a professional communicator, trainer, and change manager for 18 years. She now uses the same skill set that helped her advise business leaders and corporations to help individuals reframe midlife crisis into an opportunity to reevaluate and build a new and better life. Personal transformation coach and success energizer with energizing success. That's strange. Ray Banuchi is known as Ray of Sunshine. Oh, I love that. Ray of Sunshine because he's always smiling, and he's demonstrating that right at this very minute. Despite spending years wandering aimlessly through life, taking jobs that paid the bills but left him unfulfilled, his journey of self-discovery brought clarity that his purpose is to be a guide and teacher who helps people remove blocks and awaken clients to their true purpose, power, potential, and passion. The 4 Ps that we all aspire to. The title of their presentation is How Unemployment Can Be a Blessing in Disguise. Let's see how many of you believe that. All right, Grace and Ray. Give a big hand.
Welcome, and thank you for showing up today. So much of success in life is just about showing up, isn't it? So I want you to give yourselves a big round of applause just for being here today. I want you to realize how many people are in the wings, waiting in the wings to support you. I know what it's like when you're unemployed and you feel all alone, you feel isolated, especially when you're at home just thinking, how am I going to get to the next job or whatever it is. But look around. Look at all the people that are here to support you. There's so many organizations, so many resources that Kathy spoke about before this started. It's so many people that are in place to help you find whatever it is that is next for you. Isn't that exciting? So how many of you have been unemployed for less than 3 months? Raise your hand. Okay, more than 3 months? More than 6 months? And more than a year? Okay, great. Well, we have something for you today. How many of you right now believe that being unemployed is a blessing in disguise? Look at this, so many people. And how many of you are open to the opportunity to consider that it might be? Maybe you haven't seen it yet, but you're open to think about it in a different way today, okay? Great, thank you for showing up and being here. My name is Grace Gravestock. As you know, this is my business partner, Ray Banuchi, and we are going to share with you some exciting good news today and some new principles, and they might be a little heretical, but since you're open to hearing them, I think you're going to find them very worthwhile. Anything you want to add?
Nope, you're doing great.
So let's get started. So today, a little bit about what we're going to go through. I'll tell you my story. Ray's going to tell you his story. Really, my thing is human design, and his thing is the core principles, which you'll learn about. And the work that we do really combines those two things. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what human design is, the science of differentiation. Ray's going to tell you about the new paradigm and the new paradigm principles. And then you're going to give you some really practical, immediately useful things to shift your mindset. I'm going to talk about the gratitude journal, and Ray's going to talk to you about the 4 Ps. And then we're going to share with you how you can work with us if you're interested in moving forward. Sound okay? Yes. Awesome. Let's get started. Okay. So as you heard, I've been doing organizational change management for about 18 years. I started my career in radio, and I've done all kinds of things. How many have done more things than you realize? Now that you're unemployed, you realize you've done quite a few things. Awesome. So guess what? The good news is you're going to do even more before you're done here. I don't mean today, but this is the trend. When I was starting my career, they said, all of us are going to have at least 18 different jobs. And I was like, no, that can't be true. But I've had at least that many. How many of you have had at least 10 jobs in your life? Different ones, right? Okay, good. So it makes you well-rounded, it gives you experience, right? So that's what I got when I was doing consulting. I worked in change management, large-scale technology implementation, started my career in the UK. In consulting, operated, studied globalization. Globalization is what it's all about nowadays, making everything connected. And I worked for some big companies and did a lot of really interesting things. And then I got laid off the first time. And I remember that day as if it was yesterday, that like all of a sudden you're sweating and you're just like, you feel like the life is knocked out of you. How many of you know what I'm talking about? And you're just wondering, how am I going to go forward, right? But in the back of my mind that day, I heard a voice, and the voice said, "This is going to be the best thing that ever happened to you." And I was like, huh? What was that? So I had a feeling that this was true, but I didn't know how it could possibly be. So that first time I was unemployed, it was a whole year. I was so frustrated. I was angry. I was depressed. My partner at the time also was unemployed, so two of us unemployed for an entire year. Just imagine the fun, right? It was a journey for sure of self-discovery. The second time I was unemployed was after I was so frustrated with my job that I just quit. How many of you have actually been in that place? You just quit. You're so frustrated. I'm done with this, and a lot of you have. You know what it's like. So I did that, and within just a couple weeks, I found my dream job. I'm going to tell you how I did that a little bit later when we get to the gratitude journal. Spoiler alert. And the third time I was unemployed was about a year and a half ago when I released my job, I like to say. And how many of you are glad that you released your job? Not too many. Okay, a couple of you. You understand. So here's the thing. When I released my job, I was actually excited. In fact, the whole hour after my boss said your job is going away, I was actually coaching her. I was like, no, really, this is a good thing. It's okay, patting her on the shoulder. She was crying, she had to lay off a bunch of people. And I was glad. And why was I glad? I don't mean to gloss over it for you who are still in the grief of it. I'm not trying to make light of it. But for me, it was good news. And that's the story that I want to share with you right now. So today I'm happily unemployed, and I've been so for about a year and a half. But it wasn't always like that. Like I said, I've been there where you are, and I know how painful it can be. But right before I got laid off, I was at a 3-day health conference. Actually, I used to think that I was going to transition eventually out of my corporate life into, once I had a bunch of money saved up, and be a health coach. Because I wanted to help people overcome the migraine headaches that I had been struggling with for 18 years. How many of you had some kind of chronic health issue for a long time? Okay, a lot of you have. So here's a clue. It's your body giving you a message. Okay? I was trying to figure out for 16 years, what is this about? So I studied all my free time trying to get rid of my headaches. And I learned a lot of stuff along the way, but it actually has only been in the last year and a half that I've really completely overcome the headaches, and it's good news. So my first positive message to you, my first good news message is your health crisis, whatever that is probably your body giving you a message, and if you could just stay still long enough to listen and hear what it is, it would probably solve a lot of your problems, and all of a sudden it would release you for a brand new life. And so when you're unemployed, here's the bottom line of our presentation today. It gives you opportunities to know yourself, to learn to love yourself, and to pursue what you're really here for. How many of you know already what you're really here for? Anybody? A couple of people do. Okay, great. And so this is what we specialize in, helping you figure that out. It's not actually figure out, you're going to remember it, and you'll see. It's amazing. So right before I got laid off, I had this epiphany at this health conference, and all these amazing things happened. And they asked the facilitator, handed the mic around at the end of the weekend, and I stood up in front of 100 people and I said, I always thought I was going to be a health coach, but I realized I'm actually meant to be a personal transformation coach and help other people who've been through what I've been through. I've just in the last 2 years, I've been through a divorce, a job loss, a downsizing, a job shifting, changing careers, and relocation. I gave up a really nice, brand new 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom house, and I moved in with friends, and I love it. It's great. But it's a big shift, right? So how many of you have been through at least one of those kinds of shifts? Well, two, at least two in the last year. Okay, great. So this is a big opportunity. How many of you have been through more than two? Just curious. A couple of you have. Okay, so this means big opportunity, right? If you can reframe it to see it that way, amazing things can happen, okay, if you're open. So this is the gist of my story. So because I got laid off, I've now been last year and a half. I took a year, I decided it was going to be a one-year sabbatical. I'm writing a book, 10 things I learned from my one-year sabbatical and how you can take a year off too. So if you think about your time of being unemployed as a sabbatical, believe me, it will change a lot of things about how you use your time. Because at the end of the day, we're all unemployed, but we're accountable to ourselves, and we all are CEOs of our own personal services firm, right? So if you think about that, no matter who you get a paycheck from, or who you get a contract with, if you're an independent contractor, we're all self-employed at the end of the day. So it makes sense to learn about ourselves and to figure out what we're really here for, so that we can find what it is that resonates with us, whether it's satisfaction or surprise or success or, what's the other name?
Peace.
Peace, thank you. So that's all with the energy type. So that's a little bit about my story and my personal transformation. So that's what I do now. All the skills I used to help people, big companies transition, now I use those same skills to help individuals transition through their midlife crisis. So I'm glad to be here and share some exciting things with you today. And I'm going to hand it over to my business partner, Ray, who can tell you his story.
Why don't we give Grace a round of applause? Man, great job, Grace. I want to thank everyone for coming here and being open to what we have to share. I know it may sound heretical, as Grace noted, but it does have value. It has helped us and it has helped others. We didn't make this up. We learned it going through life and learned it from other people who had similar experiences. Let me ask you a couple of questions. I have some curiosity about the people that are here. How many people here love and are passionate about the careers that they have? How many people don't? I got some people that don't answer because everyone falls into one of the three categories. How many people wish they could have work that is so enjoyable they would do for free, but pays them more than they've ever been paid before? How many of you think that's far-fetched? Thank you for your honesty, I appreciate it. How many people here just want a job that maximizes their potential and allows them to be more passionate about what they do? How many people here are ready to check out? I'm glad not that many, because that was a joke, by the way. I'm glad not that people were ready to check out. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story. It's going to be a little raw, but there's a purpose to it. Right now, I am fulfilled and very happy with my life. I have an awesome partner named Lynette who fully supports me and understands me in everything that I do. I have an awesome business partner, Grace, who is completely complimentary to me, even though we come from very different backgrounds. My work is so enjoyable that I would do it for free, and sometimes I do. So it wasn't always that way, though. When I think back to the past, my home life, the family that I came from, was a broken family. My father was abused himself, and he continued that chain of abuse with my mother, my brother, and myself when he self-medicated with alcohol. So with that, most of the experiences I had through life, growing up and through life, were abuse, alienation, isolation, and misery. I tried to cope with that by experimenting, seeking solace and experimenting with and becoming addicted to drugs and sex. I also engaged other detrimental behaviors to myself to try to fill the void within me. Eventually, I married and we had children. Our family experienced many of the same issues that I did growing up. And so when our children grew up and left the home, my then wife and I were ready to go our separate ways, and we did. I was just trying to fit in, understand how to fit in. Everything I did to try to fit in, everything I did to be like everyone else failed. Nothing worked for me. And I fell into a deep depression in my early 30s. Eventually, I decided to seek answers from more positive sources. And one of my major turning points in life was reading a book called Who Are You Really by Dr. Gary Null. That book helped me to realize that I'm not broken, that I'm just different. And so I decided to have a different life, and I decided to do different actions. I got back into exercise. I trained for and completed the New York City Marathon, where I'm from, by the way, the New York City Marathon twice. Yoga and meditation become a central part of my daily activities. My journey continued after that for quite some time. I was blessed to come across many amazing teachers and guides, and I was exposed to human design and the new paradigm principles, which helped me to realize, especially human design, helped me to realize that in actuality, I am what's called, and Grace will go into this in more detail, I'm what's called a projector. Projectors only make up 20% of the population. The vast majority are probably most of the people in here, which are generators, and again, Grace will go into that. But being one of the minority types, I just felt like I never fit in. But by learning this, by realizing that I'm just different and not broken, it allowed me, through the new paradigm principles, to understand that by being a guide, I can help others to transition through the challenges that life throws at us. Now, some of the things that I've shared, as I said, was raw, and some people would hesitate to share such deeply personal details about their life. But because of the new paradigm principles, I'm able to share freely and fearlessly. I'm able to choose what I'm affected by instead of being at the mercy of others or what they think of me. That's an example of living in your full power. Instead of having a public persona and a private persona that no one sees, I now only have one persona. What you see is what you get. Thank you for listening.
Ray, and this is true. I've known Ray for quite a few years, and he is very genuine and authentic. So what you see is definitely what you get, and I'm learning to apply those principles to my own life as well. I want to share with you now a little bit more about human design. So a quick story about why I'm so passionate about this. When I left a 16-year marriage, I had to learn the lesson of standing up for myself, and that was why I had to leave. When I left my job, I had to learn to stand up for myself at work. And then as I was going through all those other transitions that I mentioned, I had to learn to find happiness within myself instead of finding it outside. And so one of the things that really helped me the most was human design. So human design is the science of differentiation. Ray actually introduced it to me, and he and Lynette both highly recommended it to me because after I was going through the divorce, I was really struggling with who am I? Who am I outside of this marriage? How many of you have been through a really long relationship and it broke up? And you wonder, who am I outside of this, right? Because if you're with the same person for so many years, your identity sort of shifts. And so human design was pivotal for me because it helped explain the things that my ex really didn't like about me and that I was trying to figure out how to fix. And what I realized, just like Ray said in his story, is I'm actually not broken. And I'm actually the way I'm supposed to be. And that's part of my gift. And so it was really eye-opening and exciting for me to learn that I'm a big energy and there's nothing wrong with that. And so I'm learning to really fully express myself as I would love for you to do as well, because it's so satisfying and so fulfilling to really be who you are and really show up in the world the way you're meant to show up. So human design helped me to figure that out. And here's the thing, the bottom line about human design is it's a way to understand who you are, and everyone is very unique. And it's a way to help you learn to love yourself. Let me ask you, how many of you have heard that, it's important to love yourself? And you're like, what the heck? What the heck is that, right? I don't love myself. I don't need to love myself. I just need to love my partner or, my kids or whatever. But actually, it's really important to learn to love yourself. How many of you have flown in the last year somewhere? Okay, you remember when you get on the plane and they say, make sure that you put your own oxygen mask before you put anybody else's on? There's a reason for that, right? Because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of others. So one of the biggest messages that I want you to get out of today is one of self-care. Really let this be an opportunity. Remember I said blessing in disguise? Let this be an opportunity, however long you're unemployed, for you to focus on you. Learn who you are, learn to love yourself, and learn to take care of yourself. Because the bottom line is, if you don't take care of yourself, nobody else will. Certainly not, and nobody else can love you more than you love yourself. So the best possible thing you can do is learn to love yourself. So that's what human design taught me. So we're told to just do it, right? We're in the Nike culture. Just do it. But here's the thing. We're all different. There's no one-size-fits-all approach. So what does that mean? How do we figure out how to just do it for our who we are? Well, human design is one of the ways. How many of you have done at least 2 other kinds of personal self-assessment type tests or something like that? Okay, a lot of you have. And how many of you really liked doing that? Yeah, a lot of us. That's good. Why? Because we're here to know ourselves. That's most of us. You've heard that saying, right? Know thyself. There's a reason that's wisdom, because most of us are here to know ourselves, so it's important. So this is a great way to do it when you learn your own energy type, and there's so much to this. I've literally been studying it nonstop every day for 2 years, and I'm always finding out more things, so I love it. The point here is that you have a unique energy type. So most of us are builders, generators, and like Ray said, and then he's a projector, which are the guides. They're the ones that don't fit in, by the way. If you think about you have a partner or a friend or family member that's like just really different than everybody else, they might be a projector, and really you might want to have him talk to Ray, because he's an expert at being a projector and helping other people learn how that can be a real benefit in their lives and figure out what they're here for, which is guiding. There's a small group of people who are called manifestors or initiators. They're the only ones on the planet that are actually designed to just do it, to initiate action. They're the only ones. That's 8%. That's the reason why we all try to follow the rules and then they don't work for us and we think there's something wrong with us. How many of you have done that? Yeah, you're like, what's wrong with me? It's not you. It's the wrong rules. You're focused on the wrong things. And there's a small percentage of people who are reflectors. I have a sister like that. They're like the medicine woman or the shaman of the tribe. They're there to like make sure everybody's not taken care of, but healthy. They're kind of like the canary in the coal mine. So the point that I want to share with you here is that every one of the energy types, all 4 of them, have a strategy. And here's the best news of the day. Okay, I want you to pay attention. The best news of the day is we don't have to go after and chase what it is. I know 8% of people can do this, right? But the majority of us don't have to go and chase it down. We're actually designed to have it come to us. I know you're skeptical, but let me share a little bit more. So when you learn, we're taught that there's one right way to do it, but we know intuitively that we're maybe a little different. We're going to have to do it a little bit differently, right? We're all different. So human design teaches us that we have a unique strategy, and the result, wouldn't it be great if your ideal job just came to you and you didn't have to like fight for it? How many of you would love that? Yeah. And how many of you have had that happen to you before? Yes, you know it's true. You know it's possible. That actually just happened to me. I have a quick story. So, I'm happily unemployed and I'm building my coaching business. But a couple months ago, I was like, it'd be great to have a little more cash flow. So as I learned to build this business, so I kind of set that intention and I let it go. One day, I got a text. Somebody I used to work with said, hey, I got this offer. They're looking for an awesome change manager. Here's the rate. If you're interested, send your resume. I sent my resume. The very next day, they called me. They said, we'd like to have an interview. Are you available tomorrow? Yes, I am. Had the interview. They said, you look like what we're looking for. Can you talk to the client on Monday? Yes, talk to the client. 30 minutes later, they hired me. I'm all set. Like, I didn't do a thing except forward my resume, pick up the phone at the right time, and talk to people. Like, wouldn't it be awesome if you got your next job that way? So this is possible. This is really possible. Oh, and the best part, I'm getting paid twice as much as I've ever got paid before. Isn't that awesome? Like, it can happen for you. So my point is, this is real. This is not just theory. We both have lots of stories that we could share. And so pay attention. So each type has a particular strategy. Generators were meant to wait to respond. So that means what's best for us is going to show up, and we are meant to respond to it when it shows up. For projectors, they got to wait for the invitation. And Ray can tell you more about that. That's a little more challenging. Manifestors are able to initiate, and reflectors, they have to wait 29 days. A whole lunar cycle. So if you know somebody that takes a very long time to make a decision, you might be a reflector. So manifestors, they're supposed to tell people before they act because they have such a big impact on people with whatever they do. They're here to initiate. So they got to say, hey, I'm going to go do this thing and it might affect you. They're supposed to do that. That's their best way. Some famous manifestors. Generators, we are meant to wait to respond. We're not meant to initiate. So what this means is, let's say you're fed up and you're thinking, I really need a vacation. You could jump on the internet and just book something, right? But you're not designed for that. Here's the better way. The better way, and this is an example, you're supposed to wait for opportunities to show up in your external environment. So let's say you're driving home today and you see a billboard and it says, visit sunny Southern California. And you think, oh, that sounds good. And then you get home and you check your mail and you get a postcard from your friend that says, hey, I'm thinking of you, wish you were here, come visit us in San Diego. And then you get on your computer and you see, oh wow, Southwest is having a sale, 50% off, flights to San Diego. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Those are all things for you to respond to. And that is, I would say, the universe giving you signs, and you are meant to respond. Wait to respond. Does that resonate? Does that make sense? You've seen this happen, right, in your own life? Sometimes you're afraid to trust it, but I'm telling you, trust your gut. Some famous generators, projectors are a little different. They got to wait to be invited. They actually need an invitation. If they are not invited, they can get really burned out and run on empty. They're meant to wait for the big things. They always need to wait to be invited or asked, because if they don't, all their wisdom just falls on deaf ears. How many of you know somebody like that? They have so much to share, but nobody will listen to them. Or maybe that's you. So if that's you, you really should talk to Ray after. You'd benefit from talking to him afterwards. He's an expert at projectors. Some famous projectors, reflectors are lunar beings. They got to wait 29 days, like I said, and here's some famous ones. So the bottom line is, for everybody, most everybody, we need to wait. And that's not popular knowledge, right? Because we don't want to wait. We want to just go get it done. But here's the thing. What if you went out and you're trying to get your ideal job, but what if it's not available yet? And you're just chugging along and you're doing all these things, but it's not ready. Like, they haven't hired, they haven't opened the position yet, right? So if you wait for things to show up in your external environment and you respond to the things that show up in your life, that's when it's going to happen for you. But if you force it, you're just going to get frustrated. There's so much more I could share with you about this, but in the interest of time, consider booking a session with me. I do a free session as well, like Kathy talked about at the beginning. So we can go into looking at your energy blueprint if you're interested in more. That's my thing about human design, just to whet your appetite, because it's so fascinating. It really can help you to have the life you really, really want. So I'm going to pass it on to Ray now. Ray is going to tell you about the new paradigm principles. Take it away, Ray.
So the reason why the new paradigm principles are called that is because we are actually transitioning over to a new way of doing things. I don't know how many people are aware of that, but one of the ways you may notice is that a lot of the speakers that come to this club speak about the topics that we talk about. And that's only a more recent occurrence. In the past, people talked about the traditional job-seeking ways and how to be a better job seeker, a better employee, but now people are starting to talk more about a different and a new way of doing things. And so the new paradigm principles have helped both of us tremendously. In order to, and the way that they can work is that one must be in alignment with some prerequisites. The first one is personal responsibility, which means we are the only adult that we are responsible for. Everyone else is responsible for themselves. Our spouses, our family members, our friends, but a lot of times we take responsibility for what other people feel and think and what goes on in their lives. And that detracts from us. Because if we can't be the best person that we are less effective in what we do for ourselves and for others. Okay? So the second one is having the trust and the knowledge that following our inner authority, as Grace mentioned, in human design, and trusting that our guides and or angels, depending on your particular perspective, are here to take care of us and look out for us. And so everything happens in divine order, which is the third prerequisite. Nothing happens by chance. That's 3 prerequisites that will help us to be in alignment with the new paradigm principles. The first of the principles is being in acceptance. And what that means is accepting what life or the universe presents to you instead of resisting because you feel that you should get something different and that you know exactly what you want. An example of that is a few years back when I was unemployed. I was in your position as well, and I was starting my coaching business. My partner Lynette suggested that I try doing the working with the rideshare companies, Uber and Lyft. At first, I resisted. I thought about my past experiences a couple decades earlier, driving for black car companies in New York City, where I'm from, and I really hated that. It was a horrible experience for me, as many things were back then. And after a period of time, I rolled around with it. I tapped into my inner GPS, which is our inner authority, and I decided to give it a go. And when I did, I found that it was actually pretty interesting and quite lucrative. It helped me to pay off some debts, to keep moving my coaching business forward, and to fix my credit rating. Then the next principle, see if I wouldn't have been open or in acceptance of the opportunity being presented to me, which came out of nowhere. I had no idea. Rideshare companies, what is that? This was years, when it first started, years ago, and I had no idea what it was. And I thought about what I had done previously. So I was kind of resistant. But then I broke down that resistance, I accepted it, and it worked out for me. The second one is to be in surrender. Being in surrender means surrendering to whatever circumstances or situations that you are in, instead of resisting and being, oh, woe is me. Why am I experiencing this? Just surrender to it. An example of surrender for me was when bring this example back. When it'll come back to me. I'm going to move on to the next one. The next one is detachment. Emotional attachments, you can picture them as energy cords that we entangle with people, things, and places. And when we do that, we are susceptible to whatever that emotional attachment brings, whether it's a desirable outcome, your spouse is very happy, your children are very happy, and now you're happy. Or you're susceptible to undesirable results of them being very unhappy, very angry with you. Or, you had a rough day at work because you were emotionally attached to the outcome of what happens there. Now, by having rational attachments, as I do with my loved ones, I am able to choose what I'm affected by. I can temporarily withdraw those energy cords, those attachments, when needed, and then bring them back. Because now I'm in control, instead of being emotionally attached. You've heard the saying, when emotions go up, intelligence goes down. Well, that's very true. So that's why having rational attachments as opposed to emotional attachments is far more effective. And then the fourth principle is proceeding from openness, which is somewhat similar to the first one of acceptance, but slightly different. When proceeding from openness is just proceeding without judgment, emotional judgments or expectations about what the outcome of any interaction or situation will be. Just be open to whatever it's going to bring to you without expectation. If I was still proceeding from judgment as I was in the past, because I was judged, so I would judge others as well from an emotional perspective, I would not have been open to the relationship that I have now with my partner Lynette, because she is very different from me. And I've always had relationships with people that were similar to myself. That's what I thought was best for me. But with this relationship that I was open to, because I proceeded from openness, I have the most amazing relationship that I've ever had in my life. And I'm completely fulfilled with that. So those are the 4 principles. If you want to learn more about it, as Grace said, we are available for you.
How many of you have had those days where you just wake up and you think, I should be positive, but I'm not sure how to get there? Okay, I think we've all been there at some point. So what I'm going to do is take your hand out, this one, the Gratitude Journal template, and pull it out, and try this out as I share with you about it, okay? So the first thing I'm going to tell you is a real-life success story. Actually, somebody that I know, a good friend of mine, who was unemployed for a very long time, actually 12 years, and unemployed. So how many of you have known somebody that's been really long-term unemployed? And it feels hopeless, right? So was unemployed for a very long time and started doing this practice. This is what turned me into it. And started writing every day. I'm so happy and grateful that. And say here. It's that one, yeah. It's the one with the picture on it.
Extra. Give him an extra.
Oh, an extra. Yeah, here. Yeah, sorry about that. So anyway, he started doing this every day, writing this out, and a big shift happened. All of a sudden, I mean, I think it was maybe, it took maybe a month for him, maybe a month, maybe it was a month and a half, but all of a sudden, he got this call out of the blue, I kid you not. He was writing about how his ideal job was with a large technology firm and as a project manager, and he had never worked for a really big technology firm before, never been a project manager on that scale ever, but had been writing, this is what it looks like and this is what it feels like, and out of the blue, a recruiter called him and said, we want you to come and interview for this job. And he went into the interview and started to get nervous, just preparing for the interview, because it was like, oh my gosh, this is way beyond my skill set, and it's like over my head, but everything worked out so amazingly. When he went in for the interview, the lady shook his hand and said, as they're walking to the interview room, so here's what they really want to hear about this, this, and this. He's like, oh, okay. So that helped him to know what to say, and he said all the right things and had done some volunteer work that was in alignment with, that resonated with the hiring manager. And so it was unpaid, but had that background, and got the job. I mean, it was amazing. Like imagine, unemployed for so many years, and getting an amazing job with a big firm, a big global technology company, just like that. So my point is, this is powerful. Now, I'm not promising that this same thing will happen to you or for you, but I am promising you that if you do it, the minimum thing is you will shift your mindset from one of being negative, if you're feeling negative at all, to being much more positive. People around you will notice because you'll be in this state of gratitude. So this is also how it helped me after I quit my last job and got the one I had before I got laid off. I got it within weeks from doing this exercise. So the point is to focus on what you want, not what you don't. You need 5 minutes a day and a pen and paper. That's all you need. If you want the online version of this, I do have a form, and I can send you the link. Just send me an email, and I'll be happy to do that afterwards. But it's very simple, and I give you the template just so you can see, because it doesn't matter the words exactly, but the point is there's 2 parts. This is a little bit different than what other people teach, but this has been very effective for me and for my clients. So the first part is, I'm so happy and grateful that, colon, you write this in your notebook, 1, 2, 3, and you fill in the blanks. It could be something simple. I had a great cup of coffee today. My dog, smile at me, whatever it is, small or large, it doesn't matter. But what does matter is that it's real for you. It's something you can genuinely feel happy and grateful for right now in this minute. Make sense so far? Super easy. Anyone can do this. The second part looks the same, but it has a twist. So the second part is I'm so happy and grateful that, and now you're looking 1, 2, 3, you're filling in the blanks. This time it's things that you don't yet have, but you have an intention for. You choose to have them, right? This is what we don't want to say we want to have it. So if we say we want something, that means we don't have it, and we're sending out frequencies of lack. So just think of it this way. Set an intention for what it is that you intend to have, and then, so it's things that you set an intention for, things that you don't yet have but you want to have, and here's the kicker, you can feel grateful for it now. Now the feeling part is really important. Now you might not be designed to be in your emotions per se, so it's not like you have to get all emotional necessarily, but what you want to do is as you're writing about it, think about how you would feel or how you would sense being in that experience of that ideal job. So for me, what that was is I said, I'm so happy and grateful that I have a boss that I actually respect and I actually look up to and can learn from. And then I wrote, I work with people who actually like me and I like them. I am in a job where they value and respect my skill set and all the things that I bring. And I literally started playing with this, and I kid you not, every day when I tweaked it, the next day, something would show up. So I got it one time, I tweaked it, and I said, I wrote this list, and I said, I'd be open to a little bit of travel, to maybe up to 25 hours a month, or 25 days, or whatever. 25%, thank you. And then the next day, a recruiter calls me off of LinkedIn, like a completely new person, and it tells me about this job that fit all the criteria, and then says, it does require about 25% travel. Are you okay with that? I was like, no way! That's so amazing. And then the next day, I tweaked it a little bit more, a little bit different. Another person called me, and they read me a job description that was just what I had written, but different, whatever the new thing was. And this kept happening several days in a row. And it gave me confidence in this process, so I kept doing it consistently. The important thing is the consistency, and the important thing is really experiencing what does that feel like? What does that job feel like? What does that career feel like? What does that partner, how does that partner make you feel? Or that situation, maybe you're about to move and you're not sure what that new place is. This is a way for you to access your, in human design we call it your magnetic monopole, but you're attracting to you those experiences that are best for you. We all have it. It's a magnetic, it's an energetic thing. So this is the practice. It's daily, 5 minutes, pen and paper, very simple. Any questions on this? Yes.
Yeah, so even the future things that you're talking about, you write it in the present tense?
Yes, you write it in the present tense. I'm so happy and grateful that I have this job that blah, 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 or whatever it is. Great, thank you for that question. Any other questions?
You mentioned consistency and what else?
You mentioned what?
Consistency and what else?
It's important that you do it consistently and that you put yourself in that space of either feeling or sensing, whatever is intuitive to you, of what is that like? So it's not just the words on paper, make it as rich as you possibly can. So, sing it, dance it, imagine it, just really try to explore the creative sides of you to make it more than just words on a paper. That's what I meant. Thank you for that question, that helps clarify. Any others about that? I guarantee you that if nothing else, this will shift your mindset to be more positive. And if you do this morning and evening, even more powerful. So that's my thing about mindset. With the gratitude journal, now I'm going to pass it over to Ray, who also has a mindset tricks with what he calls the 4 Ps.
Yes. So if everyone can pull out their handout that we gave, it's on the other side. It shows how to manage your mindset with the four Ps. So through purpose is one of the major ways for us to feel fulfilled in this life, if we're living our purpose. If we don't understand what our purpose is, as I'm sure people are aware of, what you do really won't resonate with you and you're just going there just because you need to pay the bills. So if we can have the purpose, that makes the process so much more enjoyable. So if you would, please rate yourself on how you feel you are with your purpose in your life. On a scale of 1 to 10 on the paper. You don't have to share this, you can keep this for yourself. And now passion we want to be passionate about what we do and everything in life, about our relationships, the people that we connect with, and with the passion, it helps, again, feel more fulfilled in our lives. So if you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 in the passion, it would be very beneficial. Now, personal power. Personal power is about, as I stated earlier, by being in my full power, I'm able to choose what I'm affected by. Instead of giving away my power by allowing others to determine how I feel with their judgments, what they say about me, any situations that I experience. We're giving away our personal power when we do that. When we are able to detach from that, we take back our personal power, and then we are fully in control. And the universe, which everything in the universe is energy. We're energy, our thoughts, our words, our actions, everything is energy. That's been scientifically proven for people who are doubters. So because everything is energy, when you are in your personal power, that is the energy that you're sending out to others, to people and to the universe. And this is a part of the law of attraction, I'm sure many have heard of. What you send out is what you're attracting back to yourself. So you want to be in your personal power. If you can rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 on that as well. And then maximizing our potential. I'm sure we all want to. How many people feel like they're maximizing their potential right now? Wow. Pretty empty. Not a single hand goes up feeling like you're maximizing the potential. So I guess we're going to see some pretty, we're not going to see, but you will see yourselves some pretty low scores when you rate yourself on potential. And going back to the other, the new paradigm principles that I spoke of earlier, there's also a rating for that as well. If you can rate yourself on that as well, it can help if you decide to work with us or even to explore this process on your own.